So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you might know that this year has been dedicated towards completing an Ironman. Literally my main goal of the year is on December 1st to attempt to do an Ironman, starting from like a base of absolute zero in January. I couldn't run 5Ks in January, and now in 2 months I'm gonna do an Ironman. So over the course of this year, I've run my first 5K, my first 10, my first half marathon, I've done my first triathlon, my first half Ironman, and before I do my Ironman, I wanted to do a marathon. And that marathon is next week. And I've been very nervous for this one. I don't know, I've slowly been building up and running more and more and more. And I ran a half marathon after 4 months of training, and it was hard, and now I feel like I can go out and I can easily run a half marathon. I do it for training. So yesterday I set out to run 30Ks as my last final big run before my marathon, and then start tapering from here. And I felt pretty confident. I was very good. I started slowly and I was just kind of easing it. I was like, it doesn't matter how fast I go, I just want to prove to myself that I can do this distance. So I chose this kind of loop around the river that's 7Ks in distance. So you go over 2 bridges, and I was started next to a cafe and I thought, I'll come stop here and I'll get some food like halfway through and then I'll keep going. And the first 7Ks were lovely, pretty easy. I was at a calm, chill pace, but it felt good. And then I did another 7Ks around this loop. And I stopped to drink some water at this cafe and get a little drink. And literally, I stopped and then I couldn't take another step. My left leg just died on itself, particularly like around my knee. I just couldn't bend my knee at all. When I did the half marathon, I don't think I warmed up properly, and I definitely didn't stretch properly afterwards, and I had a bit of trouble with my right leg and hip, and I went to the physio and I got it all sorted, and she gave me some exercises, and now my other leg's gone and like carked itself, which is so frustrating because I have a week until the marathon and I don't need this right now. So the good news is that the physio has cleared me to run my marathon, which is tomorrow. Because my leg doesn't hurt right now, but I feel like as soon as I start running, it's definitely going to come back with a vengeance. But anyway, I am going to give this marathon a go. I'm excited and extremely nervous. For one, I don't want to injure myself for my Ironman. That's the #1 stipulation. But I also want to do a marathon. Do I just like go for it and don't stop and complete this marathon? And if I do that, do I risk being injured for my Ironman, which is much more important to me? I've got to balance it out. If this was my event, if this was the event that I was training all these months for, then it would be fine. But it's not. So I've got to consider a bunch of things. The fact that I'm preparing for the marathon today, the day before, and this is arguably the first time I've thought about, what will I need tomorrow, can show you just how rough I kind of do this. I just turn up and run. That's my motto, just to turn up and do it, and stop myself before I think I'm getting injured. That's how I've handled all of this so far, which does make me nervous and make me feel like a bit of an imposter sometimes when I'm talking to people who've been training and other people who are doing like half Ironmans and stuff like that. They're talking to me all about this training and nutrition plans and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, I'm sure I know a heck of a lot more now than I did 8 months ago, but I still feel like I don't know anything. And I honestly, I just go out and cycle. I just go out and swim. Honestly, it's the day before the marathon and, you know, it's lunchtime and I'm like, what do I need? Oh, I have the chewy bars because I don't like the gels. I've got one. Should probably get more, but oh well. One will be fine. I got banana. But they have aid stations on the course as well, so, you know, I honestly haven't thought too much into it. I'm just going to turn up and have fun, because that's why I've done this. I've done this to challenge myself. That's the reason I chose the marathon, because I've done a half marathon now, and it was hard 4 months ago, but now I go run half marathons for training, and it's fine. I don't even realise. I get to like 24 Ks, and then I'm like, I've run a half marathon. Who knew? And I feel good afterwards. So there's no point doing
a half marathon. I'm not someone who likes to strive for time. Like, getting faster, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. But like, will I or won't I actually cross the finish line? That's what drives me, you know? I started reading this book that I never got around to finishing, and it talks about like doing things that you don't know if you'll succeed at, like doing things that have a high chance of failure, and how you should do some of those every year just for the sake of doing them, you know, because you learn so much even in your failures. So, wish me luck for my marathon tomorrow. Let's see how it goes.
I'm nervous.
Been 20 nights and 20 days.
Thanks for coming to the start line with me. Look at the stadium. So I'm gonna start and finish.
Calling to my brighter side, wishing for a place to hide, a place to leave the dark in me.
Oh my god.
I'm on the run, I'm chasing life. I'm finally a part of the race for life.
So despite being injured, I managed to make it to the end of the marathon, albeit very, very slowly. Pretty much from the 5K mark, I already felt my leg kind of tensing, which is the feeling I got before I injured it last week. And so I was very nervous. And mostly I was afraid that if I stopped at any point, like if I stopped running, my leg would seize up like it had on Sunday, and I wouldn't even be able to walk to the finish line. And so I kept running, but it was a super, super hot day, and I got to about the 30K mark. I was still running, but I wasn't moving anywhere. There were people walking faster than me, and I was doing like a running kind of motion, but it was more of a hobble, and it was so slow. There was these people that kind of like I was around the whole time. We were all sort of the same pace, and at this point they started to walk. They would walk and then they would run, and they'd walk and they'd run, and then they'd walk and they'd run, and I would just be slowly trotting along at a consistent pace. And just as I caught up to them after they walk, they would start running again, and they would sail off into the distance, and I would keep running very, very slowly, and then they would finally get tired of running and start walking, and I would finally catch up to them. And it was just a cycle going over and over again. And then I hit the 30K mark, and I was shattered. I was done. I called my mum, and she had just arrived at the finish line with my granddad, and they were gonna wait there for me. And I called her, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I need to stop running, but if I stop running, my leg's gonna seize. I was just kind of having my first breakdown of the run. But I really got to the point where I couldn't keep moving. So I stopped, I started walking and just trying to calm my heart rate and my stress levels down. And once I'd calmed down a bit again, I could run again. And those first few steps were very painful, but I did it, and I got back into the flow of running. And so for the next 12Ks, it was mostly a walk, run, walk, jog, run, 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 walk, walk, walk. But I ran like the last 2Ks completely, fully. I was like, I'm at the finish line now, I know I can make it. But yeah, for a lot of that marathon, I was convinced I was not gonna get to the finish line. Like beforehand, I didn't think my knee was gonna hold up. So I did complete this marathon. I did it, which is crazy, but it doesn't feel like it's complete, in the sense that I want to run another one now. Like, I need to train more and get to the point where I can, where I don't crash at 30Ks and I can keep going. It really was just a collection of being injured and the heat and stuff like that, but it makes me think that I should keep training and do another marathon. But before I get carried away with that, I still have my Ironman, which does end with another marathon. And that's in about 7 weeks, which is terrifying because I'm a little injured. and I have a lot of training I need to do to be able to do that Ironman. But at least I've proven to myself that I can do the marathon part of that. All I need to prove to myself now is that I can cycle 180 k's, because I know I can do the swim, and I know I can do the run, at least independently. Now I just need to prove to myself that I can do the cycle, and I need to build up to doing more of it all together, like a longer swim, run and cycle all together, because this Ironman is no joke. But I'm the last hurdle down. I finished the last stepping stone. All that's left is my Ironman. Oh my god. Okay. See you next time.